Hello, good day viewers. Still on inequality. Today we are going to look onto quadratic inequality. And we have our first problem here, which is x² minus x minus 6 less than 0. We would like to find the range of possible values of x that can satisfy this inequality. You should know that if you are dealing with quadratic inequality, where we have to obtain the roots will never satisfy the inequality if and only if it is less than type or greater than type. The only situation where the roots will satisfy is when you have less than or equal to or greater or equal to. So now let us factorize this quadratic expression. Think of two numbers that you can multiply together to get -6. And when you add them together, you get coefficient of x, which is -1. And the numbers are -3 and +2. So we have x minus 3 multiplied by x plus 2 less than 0. If we assume this to be an equation, we're going to set each factor to be equal to 0, and taking the constants to the other side, we have either x equal to 3 or x equal to -2, right? So those critical points are the ones we are going to test on the number line. So if this is a number line, so we have our -2 right here, and we have +3 right here. I remember that these two critical points will not satisfy the inequality unless if you want to check. For instance, if we check -2, by plugging in -2 here, you have -2 +2, which is 0, and 0 times this will be 0, and 0 is not less than 0, rather equal to 0. Likewise, taking 3, plug it here, you have 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 times this is still 0, and 0 is not less than 0. So the two critical points will not satisfy the inequality. So we have an open cycle here, indicating that they are not part of the solution. So now let us check numbers. To the left hand side of -2, we could have -3. In between -2 and +3, we could have 0, and we could have 4 right here. So let us check these three numbers. Let's start with this one. By plugging -3 here, we have -3 and -3, which is -6, multiplied by -3 +2, that will give us -1. And this is what? +6. But +6 is not less than 0. Therefore, no value to the left-hand side of -2 will ever satisfy this inequality. So we cross all the values to the left-hand side of -2. Then we check values in between -2 and +3. Already we have chosen 0. So let's plug it and see. 0 minus 3 is -3. Multiplied by 0 plus 2 is 2. And this is -6. And -6 is indeed less than 0. So all the values here in between -2 down to 3 will satisfy this inequality. And lastly, we would like to test this number 4. 4 minus 3 is 1, multiplied by 4 plus 2 is 6, and 1 times 6 is 6, but 6 is not less than 0. Therefore, no value here will ever satisfy this inequality from 3 down to +infinity. So our solution lies just between -2 down to 3, excluding -2 and +3. So we finally conclude that x belongs to the set of values from -2 way down to +3. Remember that suppose -2 and +3 are part of the solution, we have to use square bracket like this. But since they are not part of the solution, we use parentheses. And this is said to be the solution to this quadratic inequality. Thank you for watching. Do share to your learning colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more exciting videos. Bye bye.